Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here today with Trixie. We are reviewing the movie Uncharted. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie yet and you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. Uncharted is an action-adventure movie that is based on the video game series. As far as what I liked about the movie, I really like Tom Holland. I think he's a good actor. He's a likable kid. He's very charismatic and charming. I think he did a great job, even though he's not exactly who I pictured, and he doesn't really look like the character in the games. Sophia Ali as Chloe in this did a great job. She looks a lot like the character in the game did. I know some people have complained about her accent, saying it sounds more British than Australian, or it's kind of all over the place. I didn't notice that too much. I thought it was okay. Antonio Banderas in this is one of the villains. I thought also did a great job. Very kind of scenery chewing and over the top, but it fit the movie, and I thought he seemed like he was having a good time. The opening to this movie I thought was just great. It opens with him in the plane, basically falling out of the cargo hatch, and it's basically a lot like how some of the games. That scene is actually pretty much from the third game, I think. And a lot of the games start out that way. I know the second one starts out on a train, and you basically start out falling out of this train, and you have to kind of pick your way up through that. So I thought that was really cool. It was a lot like the game, and a really good, effective opening. And it sucked me in, and I was really enjoying it. I was like, wow, I'm going to love this movie. I went in with sort of middling expectations, I guess, and the opening was just great. And in general, I think the action in this movie is really well directed, and it looks really good. Sometimes action is hard to direct. Sometimes the camera's too close, or you can't really tell what's going on. And I think the director, Ruben Fleischer here, did a good job with the action. And the cat, there's a cat in the movie. I forget his name already. But I enjoyed the cat. I thought it was a fun little thing. I don't remember if that was in the games or not. As far as my dislikes, I do think that some of the casting in this could have been better. I think other people have mentioned it. Tom Holland is a bit young for Nathan Drake. And Marky Mark is also too young for Sully. He doesn't look anything like him, or act or sound anything like him, and he's not a particularly good actor anyway. Tati Gabrielle was Braddock. She's in the poster there, just underneath Antonio Banderas. I thought she was mostly good. I sort of liked her, but there was a couple line readings that, to me, were a little off. And I think she mostly handled the action really well. There's one, her first sort of like leg sweep, I just thought was really kind of slow and clumsy. But I thought she was okay. Other than that, though, Marky Mark is a terrible actor and a terrible person, and it's hard to watch him in this. Every scene he has, the guy cannot act. He plays the same person in every single movie. I don't know why they keep casting him. He doesn't have a mustache either. He does at the very end. There's like a mid-credit scene where he has a mustache, and they're like, cool, and he actually looks at least more like the character than he does without a mustache, and I don't know why he didn't have a mustache. I guess it is supposed to be sort of an origin story, but well, the writing, the dialogue, the banter is not very good at all in general. The comedy for me mostly didn't work. There were some funny scenes. I enjoyed actually some of the action scenes, and I thought they were kind of funny, but most of the actual jokes, the witty repartee is not very witty. And it doesn't help that, again, Marky Mark just cannot act to save his life. It's like he doesn't know what he's saying. The CGI was mostly good, but there was a couple times it wasn't that great. At the beginning when he was up on the cargo falling out of the plane, and you sort of see him, swoop around, it definitely looked like CGI to me, which is fine. I don't expect him to actually hang from cargo out of an airplane. There's a bit too much exposition. It's a little too slow, especially in the beginning. There's not that much action in this movie, not enough for my taste. It starts out with a great action scene. They do the kind of flashback thing, which I normally hate, but in this case it works, and Uncharted does that, so I can't hate on them too much for that. But yeah, it's just, there's that point there really the first half of the movie is kind of slow and a little boring, and the exposition is not handled great. There's some continuity errors I noticed. There's a scene where Tom Holland goes like swimming underwater, is fully submerged, comes out, he's got a wet shirt, and then next scene his shirt's like almost completely dry. He's just got like, a little bit of sweat there. I don't know, maybe a lot of time was supposed to have passed, or maybe they were trying to show us how hot it was there, but I have a feeling it was just bad continuity. There are quite a few scenes in this movie that don't have Nathan Drake, which I could be wrong. I don't remember that happening much in the games. From the games, they're mostly all told directly from his perspective. So if you see like whatever the villains hashing out their plan, you usually see it because he's hiding somewhere and watching. Again, I could be wrong, they might do it, but for me, any of the scenes where Nathan Drake wasn't directly involved, I kind of lost interest. Even though I did like Antonio Banderas and I thought he was a fun villain, I still just, I think I wanted to see more Nathan Drake in the movie. There's a lot of like magic pickpocketing in this movie, which kind of bothers me because it's one of those where like, when he first meets Sully, I think he steals the bracelet from Sully. They show him stealing the bracelet from the woman, who, by the way, people think is Elena. I don't think it is. The actress is credited as Zoe in the movie. But yeah, they show him stealing the bracelet from the woman, and then they show, or somehow, Marky Mark steals the bracelet back from him. There's no way he could have that I saw. He doesn't get near him. He doesn't touch him. And then they do the same thing later with Elena's character stealing the key from Tom Holland's bag. How? She wasn't near his bag. She didn't get a chance to touch his bag. So I don't know. Whatever. So there's some stuff like that. I generally didn't like the music in this movie. They did use the theme from the game a couple times, and that was cool. But in general, the actual music they used in the movie, I did not care for, especially the song that plays at the end. Other than that, this is a PlayStation production. I noticed they've got a card there at the beginning. It's the first time I'd ever seen that, and I thought it was their first, but I read apparently the Jack and Daxter animated film was also a PlayStation production. I don't remember that movie. I don't know if it came out in theaters or if it was direct to video or what. The movie is definitely not as good as the games. The games themselves are some of my favorite games. I've played all of them, at least the main four. And yeah, they're very cinematic, and they do a very good job of telling a story. And so it seemed like they were obvious to be a movie, and they talked about making a movie for a long time now. And so I was a little disappointed that I guess I didn't want to just retell the games exactly. I wanted to come up with a new adventure, but they didn't recapture the games as well as they could have. Although there's a couple great scenes where they do, there's some stuff they could have done to make it more like the game, and I wish they would have. There's 5 writers in this movie, I think, 4 or 5 writers, including one is Rafe Judkins, who is the showrunner for The Wheel of Time, based on a book series that I've read. And I feel like I can see some similarities because they're both adaptations and they're both almost good, but there's something a little off about them. This movie was supposed to come out in December of 2020. It was actually supposed to come out back in like 2015 or something, but they kept pushing it and pushing it. They actually ended up filming this before Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland started filming the most recent Spider-Man No Way Home movie just a couple days after he finished filming this. There is a quick Nolan North cameo in here. Nolan North is the voice actor who plays Nathan Drake in the games. I thought the cameo was actually kind of cheesy, but everyone else seems to have liked it. And I know at least one guy in the theater was excited, so good for him. Like I said, there is a blonde woman at the beginning who he steals a bracelet from that some people have been saying could be Elena, who's a love interest from the games. And like I said, in the movie, she is credited as Zoe, at least on IMDb. Although in the movie, they don't say her name that I remember, so it's possible that's a misdirect. I do think it would be weird to have a Zoe and a Chloe both in it, because Chloe is, of course, the other female character, that one. Other than that, there's a couple post-credit scenes, one with his brother that may or may not be played by the same actor who is younger than Tom Holland, so I assume they're going to have to recast him there. They don't really show his face. And then there's the one with Sully and with, I forget the actor's name, but where they seem to be hinting toward doing the story from the first game. And he's finally got the mustache. And they do the little bit with the cat, and then they stop and they see somebody, we don't know who, and he says his famous "oh crap" line from the games, which I did enjoy. That was a cool little nod to the games. He didn't do the no, 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 no that he usually does in the games, but what are you going to do? This movie is one of those, much like a couple others that we've reviewed, like I think Red Notice and I forget another one, where there's a big difference between the critic score and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. In this case, the critic score, at least at the time of this taping, was about 39%, and the audience score is 89%. So of course, aggregate sites are problematic when it comes to judging how good a movie is, but it is something where it seems like the fans are mostly really enjoying the movie, and the critics are not so much. And again, it's because I think critics are like, well, I've seen it before, it's been done better, whereas fans are just like, hey, it's fun, it's enjoyable, you don't have to think too much. The movie has, on record, at least $120 million budget. It may have cost a little more, but it sounds like it's going to make about 51 million for the 4-day weekend. I guess it's President's Day. And it's made over 100 million worldwide so far. I'm hearing 139, 140 million so far. I think it opened up a week ago. in Europe. So it did already make some money there. So it does sound like there's a good chance that they might make a sequel out of this. So that's good. I hope that they do. And I'd be interested to see it. I hope that this revives interest in the games and they make more of the games. If you haven't played the games, I'm curious to see what people who haven't played the games think of the movie. I have a feeling they might like the movie more than people who have played the games because they don't have the expectations that people who play the games have done. But if you saw the movie and you liked it, I encourage you to play the games. They're really good, really fun games. If they're too hard, just turn it on to an easy setting. Just play it for the story. Or honestly, just go to YouTube and you can find the stories right on YouTube right there. As far as the score on this one, I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Which I know is kind of a lame score. I feel like it's like the IGN, just standard score. But it's tough. You know, I almost would probably give it like a 6.5, but I'm trying not to do half points. So that's where it is. Overall, decent movie. Would have been better had it been cast a little bit differently. And maybe if the dialogue was a little bit better. But I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more movies in the series. So if you saw the movie or if you played the games, please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. I hope I'm going to get Phil back here next week. If so, I'm not sure what we're going to review. We might just do Uncharted again. We might do that dog movie. I know he talked about wanting to see that. Or I'm going to try to talk him into, the Foo Fighters movie. I forget what it's called, Studio 666. So if he's not back, that's what I'll be reviewing. If not, it's up to Phil. So thank you for watching. Have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.